The rain poured endlessly, soaking through clothes and bones alike. People hurried across the street, umbrellas tilted, eyes averted from the figure sitting by the lamppost. The old woman's trembling hands cupped a paper cup half filled with coins. Her voice was barely a whisper as she muttered, "God bless you," to those who didn't hear her. Her name was Margaret, but the city knew her as no one. A black Mercedes slowed near the curb. Inside sat Ethan Wallace, a man the world envied, sleek suit, calm eyes, a face that had known victory more than love. He was a millionaire who had learned to live without roots, without family, without trust. Born in an orphanage, raised by strangers, he built his empire on the belief that he owed nothing to anyone. The traffic light turned red, and that's when he saw her. The woman's eyes, deep brown, full of something haunting, locked onto his through the rain. His heart skipped a beat. He rolled the window down slightly. "Ma'am, are you okay?" She blinked, squinting through the downpour. Do I know you?" He frowned, unsure why the question bothered him. "No, I don't think so." Her lips trembled. "Ethan?" His hand froze on the window button. "What did you say?" Her voice cracked. "Ethan Wallace. You were born with a small scar near your right ear. I used to hum to you every night until the fire took you away." The color drained from his face. "How do you know about that scar?" "Because," she whispered, tears mixing with rain, "I'm your mother." For a moment, nothing existed but the sound of rain hitting metal and pavement. Ethan stepped out, ignoring his driver's startled protest. He stared at her, the wrinkles, the soaked hair, the shaking frame. Every instinct told him to walk away, but something inside him refused. He took off his coat and draped it around her shoulders. "Get in the car." She hesitated. You believe me?" "I don't know what I believe," he said quietly, "but we'll find out." 2 days later, they sat in silence at a hospital. The air between them was heavy. The DNA test had been done. Margaret clutched her rosary tightly, whispering prayers. Ethan stared out the window, pretending not to care, but his pulse said otherwise. When the doctor entered, he handed over an envelope. Ethan tore it open, eyes scanning the words that changed everything. Probability of maternity, 0%. The paper slipped from his fingers. Margaret gasped, shaking her head. No, that's wrong. I know my son. I remember his smell, his laugh, his eyes. You have the same mark on your shoulder." Ethan's voice was low and trembling. "Stop. Why are you doing this to me?" "I swear I'm not lying," she cried. "They told me my baby died in a hospital fire 35 years ago, but I never saw his body. I searched every orphanage, every home. I thought maybe." Her voice broke into sobs. He turned away, fists clenched. Enough. But when he looked at her, fragile, broken, desperate, his anger melted. He asked his assistant to find her a place to stay, a warm one, where she wouldn't have to beg again. She resisted, ashamed, but he insisted. Days passed, but her eyes stayed with him. He couldn't forget them. The way she said his name. The way his heart had believed her for just a second. A week later, his phone rang. "Mr. Wallace," his investigator said. "You might want to sit down." That woman was telling the truth about the hospital fire. But the hospital's records were falsified. The baby listed as dead wasn't hers. Her real son was switched with another infant. Ethan's chest tightened. "You're saying she's your biological mother, sir?" The DNA test failed because the hospital stored the wrong samples. He didn't wait another second. He drove across the city, tires hissing on wet roads, until he reached the small apartment he'd given her. He knocked once. The door opened slowly. Margaret blinked at him, startled. "Ethan?" He took her trembling hands and placed them over his heart. "Mom," his voice cracked, "you were right." Her knees gave out as tears filled her eyes. "My baby," He caught her, pulling her close, his own tears falling freely. I'm sorry for doubting you. I'm sorry for all the years you spent alone. She shook her head, smiling through tears. Don't be sorry, my son. God told me you were alive. I just had to wait. Months passed. Margaret moved into Ethan's mansion, not as a guest, but as a mother reclaiming her son. She cooked small meals, tended the garden, and told stories about the life she once dreamed of giving him. The house that once echoed with silence now felt alive, warm, and human. One evening, Ethan found her sitting by the fireplace, holding an old photograph of him as a baby, the one she'd kept all her life. He sat beside her. I spent years chasing everything money could buy, he said softly. But the only thing I ever really needed was this, someone to call family. Her hand brushed his cheek, her smile tender. You were never lost, Ethan. You were just on your way home. The fire crackled beside them, painting their faces in gold. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt peace, not the kind that comes from wealth or power, but from love that had survived the storm. He hadn't just found his mother. He had found where he truly belonged.